Hey Sid, you want to come here real quick? I don't know if it's change how screens. It should be I get your setup right here either there for this. Just hit to the right, or you can escape out and tap. Okay, good evening, everybody. Thanks. We'll get rolling right on time, and then you can tell how cool Spring Lake is, that even on a snow day, all of you show up. It's pretty awesome. So thank you. We were this morning sort of scrambling around to say, what do we do, and can we have this event, and you still show. So thank you for supporting your students. It's really awesome. So welcome to the writing recital on behalf of myself, Mr. Tooney, and Mrs. Henry, and Mrs. Przybylski, who's my student teacher through mid-May. We thank you and welcome you for being here tonight. It's a cool night. And one of the reasons is just because this vulnerability that's about to happen, right? Like really, even me standing here now in front of you, it's got my heart racing a little bit, and so I know that's true for many of the students too. So just the fact of reading an original piece in front of people is stressful, and so it's pretty awesome that we're even doing it. So I want to share just a little piece of writing. This is a 6-word poem. It's one of the styles. We try to reduce like a moment in a life down to 6 words, and here's tonight in 6 words, I think. Students write honestly, need audience now. And for me, the reason for that poem is just like imagine having a football team practice but never play, or a theater performance where all they do is rehearse, and then they rehearse until the end, and then you just walk away. To me, that's what a creative writing class is. If you don't have something like this where you're finally putting out the writing to the world. So again, thank you. We need you for validation as audience. We need you for celebration. The cover art that you see here is a collaborative effort between the 2 classes, between Mrs. Henry's class and my class. And we just put a blank sheet on the wall and said, draw anything, and that's what it was. And so you can interpret and analyze that on your own time. I don't know what's going on, but I do kind of love it. So And now students, here's how tonight's gonna work. We're just come up one at a time now. I think because of the snow day, we do have a few missing students. So if you don't see anybody get up, please just sort of, wherever your name is, and we can kind of makeshift it around that way. Although it seems like I think I see somebody, maybe they're walking around again. So we're not gonna come up in between though to say, and next is, students just get up and introduce yourselves, that's fine. And I think this is the final note that Casey King, where's Casey? Where are you, Casey? Casey King's gonna go first, even though he's way down on the list because he has to bolt as soon as he's done here. So Casey King's gonna start us, and even at the end of the night, when we're finally done with Brendan Tays and Sid Sabo, then we'll just say goodnight, and that'll be great. And again, thanks all for being here. So Casey, you're on.
Sorry, I don't really know how to do this.
Yeah, you gotta like swallow the mic to make it effective.
All right, so this is my writing piece, Springboard. It's about the sport that I do, diving. And so here we go. Think, wait, no, don't think. Don't think too much. Just think just enough so you remember what you needed to do. So think about what you have to do, but don't think at all. Make sense? Probably not. This would only make sense to a diver. So, you know how people get terrified of that one dream where you're in front of a crowd and you're only in your underwear? This is a diver every single day. Only we're up there in a Speedo. But the people is the least of our worries. There's two things that we really worry about while we're on the board, and that's us and the board. But if you get really good at it, you put the petty fear aside of hitting the board, and you're just worried about yourself. You're the only person that can screw you up while you're on the board. Diving is all about being out of your comfort zone. And on a typical meet, you're throwing at least 2 dives that you're not comfortable with. Diving, in my opinion, is one of the most underappreciated sports out there. Most people don't even know that it's a sport. When I talk about how diving is going, people just say, oh, you're just falling. I look at them, kind of roll my eyes, and just say, yeah, but I'm falling in style. And then when people try to say it's not even a real sport, I just smile and say, no, but I like to see you try to do it. I'm not trying to say that mine's the hardest sport out there, but diving is definitely not easy. Thank you.
Have you ever been to a Comic-Con? You see those people who take these conventions a bit too far. I mean, you can see some guy not wearing pants, and it's acceptable. Hey, Batman, what do you think? I think you should put on some pants, son. The prices of these comics aren't even reasonable. Poorly handled comics, $1,200. People actually buy them. It's absurd. Imagine your FICO credit score if you're buying one of these. Oh, look, this guy bought 50 pieces of ripped paper for $1,200. Sucker. And the food of these things, all typical greasy foods you'd expect. I'll have the grease burger with the signed-up undercooked onion rings. You know the kind that you bite, you take one bite out, and all the onion comes out? I know you're paying. And they charge you a ridiculous amount of money to get one. They should pay your ambulance bill for all the chest pain you'd experience after eating these grease bombs. There's probably some fine print on the receipt saying that you can't sue them after eating their food. And I mean fine print. You'd probably need a microscope to see it. And have you seen the security? They look like the dumb jocks from high school. You know, Hans and Franz. We're here to pump you up. They look as confused as a grandpa greeting at the entrance to a Walmart. Hey, Mr. Security Guard, you like my authentic, genuine, top-of-the-line, color-coded, thick-month guarantee Gandalf the Grey costume? Gandalf? What's a Gandalf? Now I get to the good stuff. The nerdy parents who go because their kids wanted to go. Yeah, right. I see the replica of the USS Enterprise and those spot cues in your book bag. I know that there are so many of you losers in these things. You shouldn't be ashamed. I mean, they look like your typical parents. Suit, tie, khakis, black socks, and sandals. But when he gets to these Comic-Cons, he pulls out the famed taped Harry Potter glasses. There are some people who don't even enjoy going to these conventions that still go, like that one girlfriend who's been dragged by her boyfriend against her will. Or that one grandpa that walked into the wrong building thinking it was the breakfast buffet at Golden Corral. And even a kid who can't even speak, who just squirms and cries at the sight of anybody in costume. And celebrities can't even look at their fans in the right light. Harrison Ford can't bear looking at the diehard Star Wars fans. They don't even get my hair right. Or George Takei doing his 50th, oh my. Or beam me up, Scotty. Or that Darth Maul wannabe who spent 6 months working on his costume while living in his mother's basement, who asks you, what are you supposed to be? A functioning member of society.
I'm Alex, and I ended up doing a excerpt from my story called Tempted. Pulling back into the mall, I looked at Jo. She was looking out the window, watching the rain slowly drip down. Her smile was so genuine. It seemed she could enjoy every piece of life and never get angry when something bad happened to her. Jo's character let her live life and not care what others thought about how she lived hers. When I parked the car, Jo turned to me, that smile still on her lips. I really liked having coffee with you today, she began. It was great to have fun with someone new. Thanks for that, Avi. I wasn't sure how to respond to that. She had taken the words right out of my mouth. I was about to lean in for a kiss when all of a sudden, knock, knock, Esther was basically pounding on my window. Hey, time's up, sweet lips, I sighed, and Jo giggled. I knew the moment was over, and she opened the door and began to get out. But before she did, she turned back to me and kissed my cheek. Don't be afraid to text me later. And with that, she was off. That was the last time I would ever see Jo again. Watching the news later that night, I hear Jo had swerved out of her way, avoiding a dog wandering into the road. The police said Jo was dead upon arrival. Every day since that afternoon, her smile never left my mind. She would always be with me, whether she was here or not.
Hi, I'm Baruch, and I decided to share a poem from a journal titled The Latest and Greatest. Baruch Camps, hail the greatest, the biggest news, the latest. If you didn't know, I rap, always sound good, never crap. In El Class City Spanish, 17, not 18, still man-ish. This poem is almost over. Don't drive a Range Rover. All the ladies love Baruch. I'm practically the king, Archduke. This year, Baruch is 17. I'm not skinny, I'm lean. My beautiful hair is blonde. Baruch is going above and beyond. Sharing my great piece of writing. Tonight is going to be exciting. I love hearing other people's stuff. Always catch me lifting. I'm buff. Creative writing is really super dope. Never shook hands with the Pope. We've had a mild winter thus far. I'm sweet like a candy bar. Baruch Camps is almost done here. I have better rhymes than Shakespeare.
Cameron, and this is just an excerpt from my short story that we did earlier this trimester. It was like a second home to her. Her long blonde salt-caked hair floated in the ocean breeze, while her sky-blue eyes reflected the vast Pacific Ocean. The girl sat, perched in her usual spot while the wind howled her name like the gentle songs her mother would sing each night. The waves met her feet and danced in the distance. The bitter water embraced her olive skin, welcoming her like a hug. The sky, like a painting, a fiery blend of oranges and reds, erupted across the island of Maui that even kept the natives watching. Each night the girl sat, never disappointed. The environment spoke to her, teaching her more about the world than anyone else could. The coral, a maze, twisting and turning beneath a jagged cliff. It stood tall among its family of palm trees and island shrubs. The sun had gone to rest, and the girl made her way down the skinny trail that led to her home. The beach grass scratched and picked at her skin, but she was well used to it. The scent of her mother's sweet Hawaiian bread met her nose as she stepped inside her family's small beach house.
We take quite a break here, don't we? To maybe Heather?
Heather's here, yeah.
Is that right?
I'm going to be reading a myth I wrote. There once was a beautiful young maiden, more beautiful than the god Aphrodite herself. Her hair lay in long golden locks. Her eyes were as blue as the sky, and her facial features and body were beautifully crafted as if by the god's hands. Her father, King Memphis of Menelaea, demanded her to marry to form an alliance with another kingdom. However, she felt no mortal man was good enough for her. Cassandra's beauty was known throughout the land, and when word spread she needed to marry, princes from all over gathered around her kingdom. They brought gifts of gold and silver in hopes that Cassandra would choose him to marry. Cassandra loved the attention and would tease them by walking out of her castle to see the gifts they brought her. She decided to test how badly the princes wanted to marry her by having them fight to the death. Last man standing would be good enough to marry her. When the princes heard the news, they went crazy and started fighting. All this commotion brought attention to Zeus, the king of the gods. He flew down on his flying horse to see what it was all about. When he saw Cassandra, he fell deeply in love with her beauty, as if in a trance, and forgot all about his wife Hera. He killed all the princes with his lightning bolts and scooped Cassandra up on his flying horse. Cassandra wanted to marry him. Zeus was the most powerful god, therefore good enough for her to marry. She demanded they be married on Mount Olympus. However, Hera was keeping an eye on Zeus and got extremely jealous, which saw him with Cassandra. She went to Cassandra and turned her into the most hideous beast she could think of. So no man would ever be hypnotized by her beauty again, and she was no longer desired by anyone on earth.
Hi, I'm Nellie, but I'm Janelle on your paper. I'm going to be reading a prologue from one of my stories that I'm writing. Boy raced through the woods. His adrenaline spiked. Where did everyone go? Why was he alone? Branches slapped his face. Panicked, he dove into a bush. As he crouched down, he listened to his rapid pulse, but couldn't slow it. His hand ached, but the thought of it gave him a touch of courage. All this was placed in the back of his mind as he noticed the air around him go still. The creatures of the night had either fled or gone into hiding underground. There was no sound from them. An evil presence filled the area, and he could feel heavy footfalls more than hear them. Icy fingers of trepidation slowly slipped down his spine. Knowing what was coming, the boy tried to make himself smaller and quiet his pounding heartbeat. A few feet from his hiding place, the heavy feet stopped. He began to shake. There was a deep rumbling from above, and even though he knew it would give him away, he couldn't stop the scream erupting from his throat.
We also
Hi, I'm Kiara, and this is an excerpt from my collection's Ode for an Insomniac, titled No Rest for the Wicked. You never realize just how tired you are until the world stands still, right? We've all had that moment where it's just one pause and oh, your eyes no longer want to stay open. Heavy limbs find soft covers and a pillow for your head, but sleep doesn't come. She takes her time, teasing you, testing you, dressing the night in dark velvet, pearls adorning the deep blackish purple as the smudge of red fades like wine stains on the horizon. You close your eyes and wait while your head starts to ache, becoming aware of all the other night sounds that occur like secrets you aren't supposed to hear. Time plays a game of never moving when you look at it and sprinting away as soon as you let your mind wander. You miss sleep as you would miss a person, wrapping yourself around a pillow and on the verge of tears wondering why they're gone from you. It's a losing fight and you're bound to give in. Numb, the soul lets go and you stop looking for her. And like love, she steps in soft and slow. Slippered steps bring you to the void, spiraling nothingness behind eyes and spinning webs of abstract in the cavern of your chest. Peace shatters with an alarm to drag you out of your hypnagogic prison into hypnopompia. Sunlight brings bleeding across the sky, setting fire to black velvet and scattering the pearls to the ocean. It's time to start the day that you never ended.
Hi, I'm Kurt, and a little bit about my piece before I actually perform it. For one, it's a song, so I'm gonna be singing for you guys tonight. Yeah, you guys, yeah. And how this piece started was Mr. Tooney had us all get in a line. It was around Christmas time, so he said, everybody with a lot of holiday spirit, go to this side of the room. Everybody with like no holiday spirit, go to this side of the room. So I got paired with the person with the most holiday spirit in the room. And Mr. Tooney came over to us. He's like, yeah, come on, you can bring up Kurt's holiday spirit. Yeah, you guys can do it. That's not what happened. We were supposed to be writing children's poetry, and I would rather not sing this in front of children. So, without any further delay, jingle sales. Dashing through the snow in a four-wheel drive Chevy, through red lights they go to Black Friday with glee. The sales are almost here, decorations turned on bright, filling up a cart with things, spending money left and right. Oh, jingle bells, Christmas could be worse. With drinking all that eggnog, you could wind up in a hearse. Oh, jingle bells, Santa might just keel. But looking on the bright side, I got a darn good deal. Hey!
Okay, I wrote this piece at the beginning of the trimester, and it's called How to Please Me. Play my favorite song when I get into the car and notice how my smile stretches far across my face. Listen to my thoughts in space and how it interests me and also confuses me, kind of like you. Kiss my neck while I'm deep in thought, explore my body as much as you can. Memorize every single part of me as if you're preparing for a quiz. Over how my eyes crinkle when I smile and how I wiggle my toes when I wait on something or someone. Let me express my emotions, let me be comfortable, let me be myself. If I confess that I love you so much that it hurts, if I confess that I am absolutely terrified of getting hurt, prove to me that there is nothing to be afraid of. Show me that not all relationships end up like my parents or my sisters or my best friends. Don't make me drink my sadness away. Get high with me, get low with me, be mine, all mine is everything. Hello, I'm Liv, and hi. And I don't really know how this piece became what it is, but it was inspired by a podcast known as Night Vale. So if many of you know that, that's cool. And I'm just gonna read it. He was very good at packing all of his belongings and moving from place to place. This was never a problem for him, although not consciously. However, he was a turtle, so this comes to no surprise as to why he had so few belongings. Oh, most of all, a limited consciousness. To name this slow creature, we'll call him Stanley. Stanley was incredibly, well, not the fastest turtle around in town, but what he lacked in speed, he made up in personality. Due to the fact that Stanley was a standard painted box turtle with a couple extra legs, an eye in his back, and occasionally emitted strange beeping sounds from deep within his shell, he was regarded as the most friendliest painted box turtle with a couple extra legs, an eye in his back that occasionally emitted a strange beeping sound from deep within his shell. Needless to say, Stanley didn't have very many friends. He was quite lonely, so lonely that he only had 3 possessions, one of which was a paperclip he found on the bathroom floor in the men's room on Saturday, which did have a slight bend toward the middle, but this didn't bother Stanley. His other 2 possessions were not as thrilling as the paperclip he found in the bathroom and had no value to be discussed here, but they were just as important to him in his mind. His small, uncomplicated, very slow, painfully slow mind. But within Stanley's mind, something much more than slow, molasses-like mental processes. Oh, much more. Stanley was not only the slowest painted box turtle in town, he was also the only one in town. Sorry, that wasn't much of a reveal, but Stanley needed some spice, you know? But he's just a slow turtle with very few belongings, who happens to scavenge around town once in a while. There isn't much to it. Well, I mean, sometimes he decides to swim in the pond or take the toilet paper out of the stalls in the men's bathroom. And Stanley, if you're out there listening, can you please stop? We only have so much money that we can spend on the toilet paper budget every month. Just saying. But here you are, wasting around, hearing about this poor, practically disabled turtle named Stanley. But you know, that's admirable. Perhaps I'll continue with Stanley's grand tale of love, adventure, passion. But perhaps I'm not.
Hi, I'm Ren. What I'm going to be reading today is a true story. And if you are my teacher, this is not a true story. It's how to do your homework in 30 easy steps. Step 1, retrieve homework. Step 2, put it on the desk. Step 3, feel motivated. Step 4, look at it. Step 5, skim the first question. Step 6, try to register what it means. Step 7, take a brain break. Step 8, go on Facebook. Step 9, look at clothing ads. Step 10, visit the website. Step 11, fill the cart with things you like. Step 12, look at your virtual wallet. Step 13, cry because you're broke. Step 14, get in the car. Step 15, drive to Starbucks. Step 16, buy a Frappuccino. Step 17, go to Family Video. Step 18, rent 2 seasons of Modern Family. Step 19, go home. Step 20, clean your room. Step 21, light the candles. Step 22, pet cats. Step 23, check Facebook again. Step 24, run out of things to do. Step 25, remember you had homework. Step 26, go back to the desk. Step 27, look at the homework. Step 28, look at the clock. Step 29, go to bed. Step 30, try again tomorrow.
So, Morgan, sorry, we're gonna have Nellie read, Nellie's gonna read Michaela's piece, because Michaela couldn't be here but wanted the piece to be read. So Nellie's gonna jump back in.
Hi again. Yes, this is a poem called The Silent Flower. It's written by my classmate and friend, Michaela Dowdy. In the winter air, I stand tall, alone, while everyone else has fallen, blown away into nothing. I sway sideways, hanging onto a thread as the wind blows. I am a delicate flower, once soft to touch, now pokey and fragile. I once had bright colors. Now only my red tip shows against my light brown stem and petals. The wind picks up again, and like always, my petals fly off one by one, laying softly on the white, soft snow, reminding me of winter every year. Sadly, I feel I have not much longer till my stem breaks, and soon I will wither away into nothing. Though that may happen, I will be reborn again and again, each time blooming more beautiful than the last. The wind picks up even more and my stem breaks. I fly silently and slowly to the snowy ground. I will sleep now until I am reborn, like a phoenix alive and beautiful.
Now you're on board.
Okay, so I'm going to be reading a narrative poem that I wrote about an experience I had a couple of weeks ago. Alarm blares, roll out of bed, groan, spend 20 minutes lamenting being awake, finally get dressed, eat a granola bar without tasting it, brush teeth, put coat on, head outside, cold bites into any exposed skin, latching on with needle-like teeth, and I'm finally awake. I twist the keys in the ignition and the car roars to life. Not waiting for the heat to kick on, I back out of my driveway. It's winter and the Unica back roads are crappy as usual. I navigate them with caution, but barely brushing the gas pedal. 4 minutes later, I've reached the main road, cleared completely of ice and snow. I can actually go the speed limit. I'm awake but not quite functioning, just going through the motions. Speed up, slow down, turn, take a curve. And suddenly the car is lurching into the other lane completely by its own choice. I jerk the wheel back, but the car just slides the other way, and another try almost spins me around. I panic, hitting the brakes, but the car just keeps fighting against me. It feels like I'm trying to control a wild, rampaging bull. Impossible. I can see headlights rushing towards me, and for a single second, my heart stops, preparing itself for what's to come. But finally, my frantic pulling of the wheel works, and the back end gives one final swerve as the front wheels find traction, and I'm in my lane again. I'm trembling so hard it's difficult to keep the wheel straight, so I slowly guide the car to the side of the road, some instinct reminding me to turn my hazards on. The radio hosts are still yammering on, and I quickly turn the radio off. The car's not silent though, filled with my harsh breathing instead. I sound like I've just run a marathon, but I can barely hear that over my heartbeat pounding in my ears. I never want to drive again. I fumble for my cell phone. Hello? Hi, Mom. Can you drive me to school? Yes? Why? I hit some black ice. I'm okay. The car's fine. I'll be there in a couple minutes. Where are you? I rattle off my location before hanging up. My heart still thumps with adrenaline, but my breathing is calm. I turn the radio back on, but don't actually listen. I check the time, 7:32. I'm going to be late. I'm about 10 minutes from my house, and I wait for Mom impatiently. 7:35. The first bell just rang. 7:38. I really should be in class right now. 7:39. One last minute. 7:40. The final bell would have just rang. Time's up. I'm late. 7:42 comes and goes, and I start to become truly irritated. Mom should be here. I have to go to school, but she's probably taking her time. She probably thinks I'm being ridiculous, but she doesn't understand. I can't drive. I can't. Not when I see Mom's car pull up behind me and sigh in relief, my annoyance subsiding. I turn off the car and grab my bag, stepping out into the cold. I start towards my mom's car, expecting to just hop in and go, but instead I see someone get out the passenger side and come walking towards me. It's my dad. I hadn't realized how much I needed to see him until something within me unlocks, setting free emotions I didn't know were there. Panic, fear, helplessness, relief, confusion, doubt. They press heavy on my chest, trying to escape. School might not be such a good idea. Are you okay? Dad asked. Yeah, My voice cracks, and Dad's suddenly hugging me tight. I'm shaking again, and hot tears are sliding down my face, but I feel better than I had 20 minutes ago. I'm okay, I'm alive, and I'm okay. My stomach still lurches every day when I take that curve. My knuckles turn white on the steering wheel, and I can never stop myself from slowing down. But I know no matter what happens, if I wake up in a hospital room, if I just get in a minor accident, or even if nothing really happens at all, my parents will be there for me.
But just wait for me to get out of here.
Just come out of the socket.
Yes.
Do that. So, first of all, I've got introductions. So, Kurt read a song, right? And Baruch had a poem. What do you get when you combine them? 2 chains. Rapping, Well, I'm not 2 chains, but I'm 2 suspenders. Here we go. When I integrate our secret Y, girls be like, damn, interval 0 to pi. It curves to the beat. I'm driving on that interval using DDT. Yeah, this is how I roll when I'm in notation prime control. It's John Green with the taped up aviators. I'm blowing minds like Einstein at the Manhattan Project. Girl, look at that dead cat. Girl, look at that live cat. Hey girl, look, it's Schrodinger's cat. I think it out, side the box. When I take the XTT, this is what I see, that parametric velocity smirking at me. I got differential equations in my pockets, and I ain't afraid to use them. I'm nerdy and I know it. When I'm taking the SAT, problems can't throw me off. We're on a roll. Come on, Proctors, it's time to go. 10 minutes left, don't be nervous. No sleep, no calculator, but it still gets aced. I'm nerdy and I know it. When I walk into the library, this is what I see. Librarians stop and be shushing at me. I'm grabbing books off the shelves, and I ain't afraid to read them. Read them. Read them. Girl, look at that white whale. Girl, look at that flylord. Girl, look at that scarlet letter. I check them out. Girl, look at that Trojan horse. Girl, look at that mockingbird. Girl, look at that dock light. I check them out. When I walk into the gym, this is what I see. Lots of buff dudes smirking at me. Got masking tape on my glasses and I ain't afraid to show it. And I'm in a Speedo because bullies took my pants. I'm nerdy and I know it. And I'm nerdy and I know it. And I've got a calculator in my pocket. I'll take a picture of it later.
I'm Olivia, and this is part of my short story. I'm not going to read the entire thing, but this is just the beginning of it. I haven't fully decided how I want it to turn out. Okay. My mind came to life. I bolted up, gasping as if I were in a nightmare. My heart was racing out of control. Where was I? I didn't recognize anything, and I couldn't focus with someone new bumping into me every few seconds. The stench of cigarettes filled my nose, burning and overpowering the smell of any other scent. It was so strong I could taste it. The room was fogged, causing it to be difficult to see the other side. People, all of them strangers, were everywhere. Some were even passed out as I was moments ago. I was so dizzy. Everything was spinning like a bad case of vertigo. My body struggled to stand straight, feeling like I was standing on a slope. I peered around the room, trying to dissect where I was. One of the walls was all windows looking over the city lights. A loft, maybe? I saw a body push their way through the crowd of people next to me. It was a boy. He looked about my age. Usually, I wouldn't follow a stranger, but this felt different, and my first priority was leaving. He told me we needed to leave now. He pulled me through the crowd behind him, not apologizing or looking back to any of the people we ran into. Finally, we reached the door and exited to the hall. The smoke and crowds immediately decreased. The cool air hit my face like a bus. I could breathe for the first time. Looking around, there were a few lingering people in the hall against the walls. He was very aware of everything going on around us. Come on, he said, after letting me pause for a minute. We continued down the hall at a fast pace and came up to an arcade. Wait here and don't talk to anyone. He released my hand and jogged in. I held my arms to myself and looked around in complete silence. This all felt so strange, and I still couldn't remember anything.
I'm Sadie, and a little context, these are short descriptions of people I met somewhere where the first thing they told us was not to make friends, even though we completely ignored that. So it's called You Can't Make Friends Here. Purple hair, 13, tiny smile, eyes bright green. Your words can crush her self-esteem, makes you want to hold her, Rowan. Blonde hair, 13, breakable Rapunzel, something from a fairy tale, baby of the group, blinded by herself from the beautifulness she was, Ava. Bleached hair, 14, contagious smile, never mean, manic highs, polar lows, keep calm and rainbow on, only white girl I know who can twerk, Belle. Wavy hair, 17, in a mental coma, drama queen, danced all day, changed her clothes, thought I was her sister, Liz. Black hair, 15, blonde bangs, lip ring, band shirts, beauty's true form, every time I breathe I miss you, Alex. Dyed hair, 16, scarred arms, skinny queen, dark humor, just like me, I need a hug, trembled at school, hit by a car but never cruel, saw through every lie, holding hands, sharing cries, she was drowning, feeding tube, that's why I love you, Sarah.
Okay, I'm Sarah, and this is a poem that I wrote. Fear is standing on the edge, looking into a never-ending pit of darkness. Happiness is wandering away from that edge, wounded, but knowing you will heal. Fear is the thumping of your heart in your chest, smashing against your bones, making it feel like they're about to crack. Happiness is a smile that overtakes your face, lingering even though you try to hold it back. Fear is the inability to grow trust, believing that everything is going to fade away. Happiness is trusting that even if everything abandons you, it was meant to be, and something better will emerge from the newfound emptiness. Fear is a sweat that forms on your already shaking hands, making it hard to hold on. Happiness is a warmth that embraces you and pumps through your veins. Fear is falling. Happiness is rising. Fear is the knot that, as it grows, becomes harder to unravel. Happiness is unveiling who you are and completely accepting it. In the end, happiness is achieved by accepting your fears. But you can't feel that fear without first achieving happiness. Without one, the other is non-existent.
Just a quick note after Christian goes here, I think Aaron came in. Were there any other people who entered late? I think maybe just Aaron. So Aaron, why don't you jump up right after Christian, and we'll still finish with Sid.
Okay, I'm Christian Ostrowski, and today I'll be reading a short piece of my writing, and it's a collection of everything that I've done throughout creative writing combined into like one passage. Some people say a job is for money, not for the enjoyment. And everywhere I hear, do what you love. I arrived at this crossroad in my life on what lies ahead of me, but I must set goals, trust myself, and never quit on life. My life is defined like a map full of information and endless adventures that are still unknown. I'll never be prepared for what the upcoming experiences that will affect me, but working hard and sacrificing to follow my dreams must be accomplished. I realized to love every moment in my life because the next day is promised to no one. I've learned how much something can be missed once it is gone, but that pushes me to become more appreciative of the moment. I accepted that life is similar to a board game. Crucial decisions waiting around every corner, inevitable spots that either become an experience or a lesson. Nevertheless, you must continue to roll the dice in order to achieve the American dream, or in this case, the board. Although a family entertainment game might be related to American life, in board games you get a chance to go back spaces. In actuality, no one gets to go back. This proves to be a pivotal moment to acknowledge the minuscule details and simply enjoy the precious life that has been given to me. The majority of people lack appreciation until the moment is past. Endless opportunities fly in front of the eyes of humanity, but who says what is the right path? I worked diligently and industriously for the past 4 years. My life depends on many decisions ahead of me, and I'm not considered an adult yet. I'm the only one that defines my future with these life-changing decisions. So the real question is this my future?
Hi, I showed up a little late, so here we go. Life in 6 words. Well, dang. Words can fall, these hang. I have a couple to tell. I have a couple to sell. Some words I show off okay, some words don't get to. So what I tell you today, don't forget it while I'm away. There's not a single day that has been as bad. All I have to say, rad. These words don't really make me mad. In fact, these words make me glad. These words are who I am. My mom's name is actually Pam. That's just a little bit about my fam.
We have a co-presentation, and I'm going to turn down the house lights a little bit.
I'm Sid Sable, and this is Hollywood actor Brendan Tays, and for our presentation, we're going to share a screenplay that we made into a video, well, part of the video. It's a parody of 1984, which the ending to that book disappointed us slightly, so we decided to make it better, so that's how we're going to do.
If you've never read 1984, here's a brief background. It takes place in 1984, and Winston, our main character, lives in Airstrip 1, or it's the UK, but in this book it's renamed, under the totalitarian rule of the party. They do their best to brainwash the populace with propaganda and spy on them with devices called telescreens. Oops, sorry. First time navigating this. Big Brother is the party's figurehead. You've probably heard Big Brother is watching you before. Winston is disillusioned with the party and is one of the few who isn't brainwashed. He finds a girl named Julia who isn't brainwashed, and they pursue a secret relationship, which is forbidden by the party. Even thinking sometimes that goes against the party doctrine is considered a thought crime, for which they have the thought police. Winston and Julia are eventually captured by the thought police agent named O'Brien and are brought to the Ministry of Love, one of the several poorly named government buildings, for torture and reconditioning. Room 101 is the ministry's most infamous torture room, said to contain your greatest fear. Oops, sorry. For Winston, it was rats. So O'Brien threatens to have his face eaten off by rats, and unless he renounces his love for Julia. That's more or less where this video picks up.
Get some audio.
Oh yeah, just pause it there a second. Sorry about that. Should be right on that.
They thought they could see my every movement. They were wrong. been training my body, honing my skills. I've been developing a distinct fighting style to fight the party. Fist crime. Oh yeah. My body may be shackled, but my mind wanders free. Where's Julia?
Whoa. What do you mean we don't have the budget? Look, it's the writer's fault. They should have known we didn't have the VFX budget for their third scene. Have you seen this? Yeah, I've memorized it. You suplex a CGI Big Brother off of the roof of his penthouse suite on top of the Ministry of Love, where that explodes like a nuke. We just don't have the cash for that. Blimey! This is going to be my big break! You know what? I'm going to have a wee little chat with those writers. I'm going to give them a piece of my mind. You know? Yeah, you don't have a movie without me! Where is my latte?
Well, with an evening like that, you get to see all the differences we get to teach on a daily basis. So thank you so much for being here, for supporting your kids, and have a good night. Thanks, everyone. See you.